Oh, what a beautiful day. There's free water coming out of the sky and we need it to keep the grass green. Now, I don't have too much grass out here, but I just love it when there's free water coming out of the sky. Interesting today, however, a lot of people have shared with me that it's cold, it's foggy, it's raining, and they're having a bad day because of the weather. And I always find that really interesting because do we have any control over the weather? I don't. How about you? So I decide every day, regardless of the weather, that I'm going to enjoy the weather that's been given to me today. And the reason I can do that is I have a hormonal system that works really effectively. How's your hormonal system working? It's not a question we usually ask, is it? But it's interesting because our hormones are responsible for pretty much everything that happens inside our body. And we hear a lot about the hormonal system from I'm fat because of my hormones, or I'm angry because of my hormones, or I've got big muscles because of my hormones, or my muscles aren't big enough because I need more hormones. It's a really interesting topic and often a controversial topic. One of the things I find really exciting about the endocrine system, and I've been studying it now for quite a while, and there's lots of reasons for that, of course. I'm an exercise professional, I run an education college, and I'm a woman. And I've been told most of my life by lots of people that your hormones are going to screw up your life, Rowie. When you're a teenager, you're going to be emotional because of your hormones. When you're a woman, it's going to cause you hassles. When you go through menopause, your hormonal system's going to be a pain in your backside, blah, 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 blah. And I say that sarcastically because is it possible that if you listen to negative talk, that it will affect your head, and what is it that is actually affected? And that's the nice connection between your hormonal system and your central nervous system, is that they are the two firing mechanisms for your body. And I often say now, people that talk negative, perhaps their central nervous system and their endocrine system, their hormonal systems, not firing very effectively, and that's why they're talking negatively. Because if you're fit and strong, and this is the whole beautiful picture, as a human body, we were designed to be really fit, get puffed on a regular basis, be really strong, overload our muscles and bones on a regular basis. And is it possible that if you're fit and strong, that your hormonal system will be fit and strong too? Your central nervous system will fire effectively, your muscles and bones will work, See, I get excited. Central nervous system, endocrine system are my two favourites because they're the ones that make everything work. Without them, our muscles and bones wouldn't work, our heart and lungs wouldn't pump, we wouldn't have an immune system. They're the things that control all of that. So how do I get my central nervous system and my endocrine system, my hormonal system, really fit? And the answer is really simple, yeah? Get really fit, get really strong, and everything else works better. It seems that we work backwards from, I've got this screwed up hormonal system, so I need to fix it, or I've got weak bones, so I need to fix them, or I've got muscles that aren't very strong, I need to fix them, or my immune system's not working, so I need to fix it. How about if we get really fit and get really strong, the whole thing works better, it fixes itself. And I'll ask this question again. Was the human body designed to be fit and strong, or was it designed to be weak and lazy and unfit and inactive? And that's just a silly question. So in particular, the hormonal system though, and this is what I get really excited about, from a physical health point of view and a mental health point of view. Your hormonal system brings everything back to normal, homeostasis. So if anything gets out of whack, your hormonal system brings it back into normal. And I just find that really fascinating, that we have a body that's designed that whatever happens to us, we can handle it because of our hormonal system. And then after we've handled it, overcome the challenge, worked it all out, then your hormonal system says, congratulations, I want to make you feel good. And that's one of the things that I love about the human body. It's got a reward system built in. And I always joke about this because we're one of the only creatures on the planet that enjoy the sexual process. We actually enjoy it. And the reason for that is we have to reproduce. And if we didn't want to reproduce, there wouldn't be more humans. So whoever created the human body said, well, let's make the sex thing a really cool thing so people really enjoy it, so they want to reproduce. Well, that's the beautiful thing about the hormonal system. And listen to this, it's so cool. When you get puffed, when you lift heavy, when you work in the phosphate system, the fight and flight system, when you put 100% effort into anything, that bit's hard. But the phosphate system's only 10 seconds. So you can say, yes, it's really hard, but it's only hard for 10 seconds. So if you lift really heavy, if you get really puffed and you do that for 10 seconds, That's where you now get a really fit everything. You get a fit hormonal system, a fit central nervous system, muscles, bones. And I'll just go to muscles very quickly. The phosphate system, the 100% effort system, is the one that is the only system, energy system, that fires up the fast twitch muscle fibers. The fast twitch muscle fibers are the ones that keep us young. They're the fast twitch. When you have to react fast, you use fast twitch muscle fibers. So you don't get that when you go for a walk. You don't use them. You use slow twitch muscle fibers. If you want those fast twitch muscle fibers to stay fast and your actions stay fast for the rest of your life, you've got to do hard and fast exercise. Now, that all happens in the phosphate system. It's only 10 seconds. Isn't that exciting? But what happens when you fire up your muscles, fire up your bones, fire up your heart and lungs, and work really hard for 10 seconds? Now you get a reward. So your body produces everything that you need to fight and flight. That's the stress system. So epinephrine, adrenaline, cortisol, go! Isn't it awesome that the human body, if you're under threat, will produce the chemicals that you need to get away from the threat? Automatically, within, you can't even count how quick. Your body produces high heart rate, high blood sugar levels, high blood pressure, everything has to pump faster because you've got to go fast, high blood fat levels, high cholesterol levels, so that you can get the hell out of there or you can turn and fight. So your body does that automatically when you're under stress. Isn't that awesome? Then after you've overcome the stress, your body says, congratulations, Rowie, you bloody legend. We're going to make you feel good now and reward you for overcoming the threat. So now your brain fills up with serotonin, dopamine, brain-derived neurotropic factor, endorphins, oxytocin, all the happy neurotransmitters that make you feel good. Doesn't that just sound awesome? Get puffed, lift heavy, feel good. Get puffed, lift heavy, feel good. But here's a real, I think, a whammy bonus. When you're in the phosphate system, when you're in the fight and flight, get away from the threat system, everything else shuts down. Your hormonal emotional system. So you're now using your hormones to get the hell out of there. What that means is you can't be sad, you can't be depressed, you can't be angry, anything that's affecting your life and making you feel bad shuts off when you go into fight and flight, because the only thing your body's capable of doing, your body is going to protect you. It's called the stay alive system. So if you have to fight and flight, if you're in that stress system, everything else shuts off. So number one, you can't be angry, you can't be upset, you can't be depressed. You can't be hungry. The hunger mechanism cuts off. The last thing you're thinking about when you're running away from a wild animal or a major threat is, I need to stop and have a cookie. Your body wants to get the hell out of there. So you don't feel unhappy, you don't feel hungry, you don't feel thirsty. Your pooing and weeing system cuts off. Your urinary system and your digestive system shuts down. Everything you don't need shuts off so that you can get away from the threat. So you'll often see sports people just before they're about to compete, they go for a pedal. They call it the nervous pedal. But interestingly, when you're fighting, when you're flighting, when you're sprinting, the last thing you'll ever need to do is tinkle or do a poo, because your body's preparing you for fight and flight. If you're getting ready for a sporting event, you are starting already to pump adrenaline. That's the other amazing thing about the hormonal system. If you tell your body that you're going to be doing some intense exercise, it starts to get ready. Even the night before, they've seen increases in adrenaline levels. That's why you can't sleep the night before a competition, because you're getting excited about it. Your body's going into stress mode because I've got to be competing. I've got to get away from the threat. I've got to punch. I've got to kick. I've got to sprint fast. I've got to jump high. So you get this nervous, got to pee, got to poo before you compete, and then everything shuts off. So you don't need sleep because you've got this natural cocaine pumping through your body. It's called adrenaline, epinephrine. You can't be upset, you can't be angry, you can't be sad, you can't be hungry, you can't be thirsty, you don't need to pee, you don't need to poo. Your immune system doesn't even work when you're in the fight and flight system, and that's why you've got to be really careful that you don't overstress and that you disperse the stress and then bring those happy drugs into your brain, particularly brain-derived neurotropic factor, which makes everything work better. But after you've overcome the threat, that's when everything goes into working order at much better working levels. So when you pump brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is the neurotransmitter brain fertilizer that fixes everything inside your brain, then your brain controls everything. So now your whole body works more effectively. Isn't it exciting? So if you get fit and strong, everything gets better, everything gets fitter, everything gets stronger, everything works better. But only in that phosphate system. You've got to get phosphate fit and phosphate strong. When you're really phosphate fit, so you get really fit in that 10 seconds where you go as hard as you possibly can for 10 seconds, and that system, if you put in 100% effort, that system, you can feel the change of systems, because when you get out of the 10-second phosphate system, you then tap into the lactate system, which is the waste product for that is lactic acid, and you actually start to feel a burn in your muscles, and you start to feel a bit sick if you're not very fit. But the beautiful thing again about the hormonal system, that phosphate system, energy system, is designed to pump enormous amounts of hormones to get you the hell out of there. It's only short, but everything else gets fitter when you work at 100%. If you put in 50% effort in the aerobic system, which is keep going forever and ever system, you get a really slow, boring result. If you work in the lactate system, which you might have to because that's your sport, but if you get really fit in the phosphate system, you'll still be better off for your lactate sport. This is so exciting, and I share this with passion and enthusiasm because so many people share with me that they're angry, depressed, hungry all the time, they hate their job, their life is stressful, they wish their life was different. And we have in our own control, we can pump the most powerful chemicals into our brain, change our brain chemistry, be able to think more clearly, act more decisively, be more creative, be happy, be positive. That's all the hormonal system. That all happens when you pump full-on phosphate system. You pump adrenaline, epinephrine, cortisol, that disperses. Now you produce dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, brain-derived neurotropic factor, and now you can think more clearly. Now that, of course, makes complete sense because if you've had to overcome a threat, get away from a wild animal, something's threatening your life, wild tribe, bad boss, stressful situation, next time that happens to you, you have to be better. You have to get better at that situation. And that's why your body produces brain-derived neurotropic factor, so that you can think more creatively, think how next time that happens to me, I can overcome the challenge. Can you see how awesome the human body is? So if you want your body to work effectively, every part of your body, particularly your hormonal system, and I always ask this question, do you want to be in control of your hormones or do you want your hormones controlling you? Because a lot of people say that to me, my hormones are controlling my life. They make me angry, they make me fat, they make me stressed. And they do if you're not in control of them. If you are really fit and really strong, your hormonal system will be fit and strong and everything will work effectively. So what are you going to do? Are you going to complain about the weather? And yes, it's rain. I've got rain falling on my face right now. I could complain about that. Why would I? First of all, I've got no control over it. Second, we need water coming out of the sky. It's called free water out of the sky for a reason, because we need it. And because I've got a strong hormonal system, I cannot allow the weather to control my feelings. I just wouldn't. I can't, because I've got a strong hormonal system. And the only reason I've got a strong hormonal system is because I'm really fit and strong. Now, if you pile on top of that all of these benefits, anything to do with hormones and emotions, anything to do with hormones and fat loss or weight gain, anything to do with hormones and menopause, when you're really fit and strong, all of that is being controlled by you, not the other way round. So your hormonal system doesn't get out of whack because you're really fit and really strong, so is your hormonal system. So we could blame a whole heap of reasons for being angry, upset, miserable, grumpy. We could. But why would we? Why not just get puffed, lift heavy, so you're fit and strong? Then your endocrine hormonal system will be fit and strong. You'll have happy neurotransmitters in your brain all of the time. And that's why I always sing this. 4 puffs an hour, 4 puffs an hour, 4 puffs an hour. I literally get puffed to the point where I can hardly breathe. That in 10 seconds, you go as hard as you can for 10 seconds. And I'll just do a quick side note on that. As you get fitter, your ability to do that more often comes down, or the time frame comes down, because as you get fitter, you recover quicker. And that's how you can tell that you're getting fit. You don't need a fitness test. Just go as hard as you can for 10 seconds until you're really puffed. Then count, measure, have a look at your watch and see how long it takes you to recover. As you get fitter, that time frame gets shorter. So that's really exciting because you can then go quite often. Now, you don't have to. You could get puffed in the morning, puffed at lunchtime, puffed in the evening. I do 4 puffs an hour for a reason, every 15 minutes for 10 seconds. 10 seconds, I have to remind everybody of this, it's not 10 minutes, it's not 1 minute, it's not 30 seconds, it's 10 seconds, as hard as you possibly can for 10 seconds. You increase majorly, or your heart rate goes to 100% effort. Your whole hormonal system changes, your brain chemistry changes, and after you get your breath back, now you can think more clearly because you've got brain-derived neurotropic factor in your brain. So let's put that into some really cool perspective. What if you've got an interview? What if you've got a test or an exam? What if you've got a hot date? What if you have to remember something? What if you're competing in a competition where you have to remember a kata or a pattern for martial arts? If you sprint as hard as you can before you have to put your brain into any kind of think mode, you'll now have brain-derived neurotropic factor working for you so that you can think more clearly and think more creatively. That's the hormonal system combined with the central nervous system working together to make your life better. And we have all of that in our own control. Get puffed, lift heavy, work in the phosphate system so you're phosphate fit and phosphate strong, and you will have a body that works for you, not against you. Doesn't that sound awesome? Particularly when you're an old lady like me. When you've gone through menopause and you didn't even know that you went through menopause, I often share this, it sounds funny, but I said to my husband, I think I've gone through menopause. I haven't had a period for quite a long time now, several years. Nothing. I'm a fit, healthy, strong human being and I didn't even know. I'm sharing that with you with passion and enthusiasm because I would love everybody to live their life to the max. And so many people don't have a happy life. They live maximally, there you go, because they're not fit and they're not strong. If you're fit and if you're strong, everything will be different. It'll be better. Your brain works better. Your body works better. You feel better. You can change your mood as quickly as you want to. So how about this? Get fit, get strong. Get puffed to get fit. Lift heavy to get strong. And be a healthy, fit human being. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing? Have a super duper day. Every day. Live your life to the max. Thanks for coming to Romax. My name's Rowie. Romax is here every day. I'm here every single day because I would love our whole world, you and everybody in your life, to be healthy, fit and strong and stay that way for the rest of your life. I'd love you to have a career or business that you love. I would love you to be financially free so that stress isn't in your life. And I would really love it if whatever relationships you have in your life, they're awesome, but wouldn't it be great to have a great relationship with yourself? And wouldn't that be more possible or easier if you have a hormonal system and a central nervous system that's working for you, not against you? So you too can sing every single day. I feel good, na 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 na. I knew that I would know because I have my hormones under control. Woo!